So I don't know if you know what's happening in Ukraine. If you're watching the corporate news, you don't know what's happening in Ukraine. What's happening in Ukraine is the United States and NATO provoked this conflict since 2014 at least, if not earlier. And we overthrew their government in 2014 and blah, blah, blah. But now, moving on to Taiwan, Joe Biden, they want Taiwan to become a slaughtering field like Ukraine is. Also, listen.
Quickly, you didn't want to get involved in the Ukraine conflict militarily for obvious reasons. Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are.
That's the commitment we made.
Come on, man. This is elder abuse.
Yes. Deadly serious. U.S. quietly urging Taiwan to follow Ukraine playbook for countering China. What does that mean? Let's see what that means. U.S. officials are pushing their Taiwanese counterparts with new urgency to look to Ukraine's success in fending off Russian forces as a blueprint for countering a Chinese attack.
Get ready to lose your island, basically.
Basically. Get ready to lose your island, and a bunch of people are going to get killed in the process. If they are trying to... I don't think the people in Taiwan are that stupid. I don't think that they think the Ukraine is actually having success against Russia.
You know how much stuff that I see of like how Russia is losing this right now, where it's like shocking to me the radically difference. And I was like, how can you?
It's called propaganda. It's called propaganda, Kurt.
I mean, it seems stronger than I remember.
But there is little doubt that China is also learning from Russia's botched invasion. It's not a botched invasion. Who the fuck wrote this? Who the fuck wrote this? Lara Seligman. You propagandist bullshitter. Of course, that's why Sarah works at Politico. She's a propagandist.
Hey, if they're doing it so quietly, why am I reading about it?
Right. But there is little doubt that China is also learning from Russia's botched invasion as it looks to reunify Taiwan with the mainland, with or without force. Experts say that's never going to happen.
But that's why Kissinger's like, you're going to screw up the stability, because that's like his legacy. That's not a war crime,
that's,
you know?
That's right.
And they're going to screw that up for him, so he'll just be a...
But there is little doubt that China is also learning from Russia's botched invasion as it looks to reunify Taiwan with mainland. No, that might happen. Now, let me correct what I just said. I misread that. Experts say, because there's already a one China policy, the United States already recognizes that China and Taiwan are one. This is very weird what's happening, but it's all economic and has nothing to do with that we care about the people in Taiwan or democracy, freedom, liberty, any of that shit. It's all about economics.
A lot of market, like a lot of the world's trade goes through their...
That's right. So
their market. Experts,
they don't say which experts. They just say experts say Beijing is likely adjusting its plans for the island to reflect and improve on Russia's failures. Russia's not failing. The United States and NATO are failing. Lara, what's her name? Sarah? What's her name? Lara. It's the Russia and NATO that are failing. And I know it's embarrassing that a pothead comedian has to tell you this, but I'm telling you, and I know you consider yourself a very informed, newsy type person, but you're not. You're just a propagandist working for a corporation that is interested in propagandizing the United States people. There's no question that the perceived reality of the possibility of a Chinese invasion in Taiwan is greater than it was 3 months ago, said Aaron Friedberg, a professor of politics and international affairs at Princeton University. But it's not a trivial challenge for the Chinese, even as strong as they've become. The U.S. and its Pacific allies have been alarmed by Beijing's tacit support for Moscow since the invasion. Yeah, they should be, because the petrodollar is going to be over. And the last thing we should be doing is pushing China and Russia together. But that's exactly what NATO and Joe Biden are doing. We're doing it to ourselves. And U.S. officials believe the conflict has influenced China's calculations about how and when to attempt to take control of Taiwan. Clearly, the Chinese leadership is trying to look carefully about the lessons they should draw from Ukraine about their own ambitions in Taiwan. CIA Director Bill Burns said this, by the way. You know it's true if he said it. I don't think for a minute it's eroded President Xi Jinping's determination over time to gain control over Taiwan. But I think it's something that's affecting their calculations about how and when they go about doing that. So he's saying
accelerating it by quite a lot.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Is that what you mean?
Now's their chance? Was that
yeah.
Dumbass?
While the United States does not formally have diplomatic relations with Taiwan, the two governments maintain tight security ties under the 1979 Taiwan Relations Act. Washington has long supported Taipei's self-defense capability with arms sales and close military relationship. The two forces train together, and Taiwanese cadets study at elite U.S. military academies. Russia's February 24th invasion of Ukraine was a wake-up call for the Taiwanese people. Recent opinion polls show a significant increase in citizens who believe a Chinese invasion is likely, compared with surveys taken before the invasion. At the same time, the U.S. effort to reshape Taiwan's military has taken on new urgency since the Russian invasion. Yeah, you bet. Officials and experts said U.S. officials are pointing to Ukraine's success again. So this article is manufacturing consent, as Noam Chomsky told the corporate media manufactures consent. And right now, the establishment, the oligarchy, the military-industrial complex, they want to ratchet up tensions with China and Russia. And it's all about economics. With Russia, it's about us giving gas and energy to Europe. China, it's about all kinds of economics. So what this person is writing this is doing, or was told to do and is doing, was to pretend that Ukraine's winning the war against Russia. And so that would also make China a little scared to take over Taiwan. So it's a good thing. So this means it's a good thing. And it's also a good thing that we help arm the Taiwanese people, just like we're arming Ukraine. The reality is
we already armed them?
The exact opposite. Yes, we're already arming Taiwan. The exact opposite is true. That arming Taiwan, arming Ukraine leads to the slaughter of people and an inevitable outcome that we already know. We're not going to win this Ukraine war. There's no winning a war with China. But Ukraine's success with Stinger and anti-aircraft and Javelin anti-tank missiles, as well as its spirited core of civilian volunteers, as proof that the strategy they have long endorsed works. That's all propaganda. None of that's true. None of it.
Not even the spirited core of civilian volunteers.
The Ukraine situation validated some longstanding steps we've been taking in Taiwan, said one DOD official. See, that's why we should arm the Taiwanese, because look how good it's working in Ukraine. Top U.S. military officials have said not a critical line in this entire article by this woman, Laura. Not one skeptical line. Not one. Top U.S. military officials have said in recent weeks that Taipei is learning critical lessons from Russia's invasion of Ukraine that the island could apply to a Chinese attack, said Lieutenant General Scott Barrier, who's on the payroll, I'm sure, of a lot of weapons manufacturer, director of the Defense Intelligence. Oh, no, maybe he's just in government now. He noted in a recent hearing that importance of small unit tactics, a non-commissioned officer corps, and effective training with the right weapon system.
You know, all of these assholes work at companies that were pretty effectively hacked by China a couple of years ago. Like, how are you going to show them anything? They probably know about it before you even put out whatever this is.
I think they're learning some very interesting lessons from the Ukraine conflict, like how important leadership is. We have to lead.
Yeah, you know what they learned from TikTok? They can destroy us whenever they want.
That's right. Since 2010, Taipei has spent more than $23 billion on U.S. weapons.
That's nice.
Should we just stop the story there?
With job creation, you're saying?
Like that should have been Lara. You buried the lead. You buried the lead. Since 2010, Taipei has spent more than $23 billion on U.S. weapons, primarily large conventional arms such as F-16 fighter jets and M109AG self-propelled howitzers. But in recent years, Washington has been urging Taipei to buy different types of weapons geared for so-called asymmetric warfare, smaller, more mobile ones that are difficult for a larger foe to target and counter. Also, they're the weapons you didn't already buy yet, so you can buy these now. And then after you buy these, we'll have another one that's even more tactical that you can buy then too. Taiwan's military may need a culture shift as well as new weapons, General Mark Miley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said in April hearing that an important lesson Taiwan could draw from Ukraine is a nation in arms. This is like listening to the mafia tell you how you need more olive oil. And they got this stooge, Laura, over at Politico to print it. And she did it. Of course she did. And her editors.
How much you want to bet? I mean, what always too after these, like, we got to get them weapons. You like find out years later, like they actually got like crappy. They didn't even get those weapons.
But they did
stole half of it before it got there.
But they
gave
did
them old stuff. Yeah.
But they did get pallets of cash.
Yeah. Right.
If your opponent tries to invade you and every military-age man and woman is armed and they have a little bit of training, they could be very effective use. Yes! Let's arm the fucking whole country!
Is it like a zombie?
Every man, woman, and child has a gun! Huh? Now we're talking liberty.
You've seen The Walking Dead, right? It's like that.
So what he's saying is a Stinger missile in every pot! And a howitzer in every garage. But Taiwan's military is not well integrated with its civilian population, a disconnect that has roots in Taiwan's long history of martial law. Many citizens still have physical and mental scars from Taiwan's period of white terror, when those believed to be anti-government were rounded up and imprisoned. Thousands were executed. We do that now in the United States. It's called the prison system. Part of the problem in Taiwan is there really isn't much enthusiasm among the civilians to work with the military or the military to work with civilians, some douchebag said. That said, I think the Pentagon would really like Taiwan to draw some lessons from Ukraine, as everyone has seen that putting up resistance can be one of the most decisive factors in wartime. So you're telling me the Taiwan government did white terror? The Taiwan government did that?
First I'm hearing of it.
First I'm hearing of it. So they sound like good people. That said, I think the Pentagon there. But some analysts, here it comes. But some analysts believe using Ukraine as a model for Taiwan is the wrong approach. Way to go, Lara! Way to go! You got there. Randall Shriver, who served as the Pentagon's top Asia policy official, she's still fucking quoting Pentagon people, noted that Ukraine may have thwarted a swift Russian victory, but at the cost of tens of thousands of lives and millions of people displaced. If you tell Taiwan this is the plan for you, that's not very comforting, Shriver said. Yeah, I know. That's why this article's sitting like such garbage.
At best, you're not going to be able to call it a win. That's the...
At best. Ha ha ha. Why would any sane person look at Ukraine and say, hey, that's how I want to end up? So now you know the rest of the story, and now you know how propaganda works, and now you just saw some. Pretty sweet. Here we're doing stand-up comedy in Irvine, California, Las Vegas, San Diego, Salt Lake City, Indianapolis, Louisville, all over the place. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets.